It's 9 o'clock in the Upper Miami Valley at 105.5 FM and 1080 AM WMVR. Nice to have you with us. Would somebody please come in and run the radio station for the rest of the morning? Well, it would be nice. We were just kind of wishful thinking there. 36 degrees in the Upper Miami Valley. Good morning, everyone. I'm Joe Daves with the news, brought to you this morning by Schaefer Insurance of Sydney and Anna. Weatherman calling for frost warning tonight. Mostly sunny today, high of 60. Clear and cold tonight, scattered frost, low 32. Sunny tomorrow with a high of 65. Right now in the Upper Miami Valley, 36 degrees at WMVR. Sydney police arrested a man wanted for homicide late yesterday afternoon. A police news release says that 30-year-old Louis W. Burrell, address unknown, was arrested shortly before 5 p.m. in the 700 block of West Michigan Street. He's wanted for a murder in Hagerstown, Maryland. The arrest was made without incident, and Burrell is being held without bond in the Shelby County Jail. A Hardin County man is in custody after an incident yesterday morning near Botkins. According to police, the incident took place at the Botkins Budget Inn just off Interstate 75 shortly before 8:30 yesterday morning. An adult female went into the motel office and told the manager that she'd been kidnapped and that the suspect had a knife. While police were attempting to question the woman, the suspect, Walter Spangler, left room number 132.
Welcome to Yellow Jacket Replay on Warner 13 with Dave Ross. Dale Gibbon will be joining me a bit later on as Sydney opens conference play in the GMVC at Trotwood Madison. Our season-long sponsors include the Sydney Shelby County YMCA, the Heinfeld Insurance Agency, Sydney Interstate Shell, the home of the free car wash, the Dog Pound behind the Sydney Econo Lodge, the Minster State Bank, First Call Auto Supply, the Spot and Frisch's Restaurants, People's Federal Savings and Loan Association, Travel to Paradise, the North Dixie Drive-Through Carryout, Wilson's Cardinal Foods, Edward D. Jones and Company with Errol Browd and Alan Browd, Emerson Wagner Realty, Area Energy and Electric, Mutual Federal Savings Bank, our halftime band show sponsor, Myers Garage and Drive-Through Carryout in Newport, the Reese Insurance Agency, the Sydney office of the First National Bank in New Bremen, F.D. Lawrence Electric, the Dickman Insurance Agency, the Farrington, and A&B Machine Incorporated. Our cameraman is John Hemp from Hemp Imagery in Sydney, specializing in still and video photography of weddings and other memorable events. Call him at 492-7313. He promises he'll give you his best shot. As per our weekly custom, we're now joined by Yellow Jacket head football coach Scott Roddy. Coach, an offensive battle last Friday night. The Jackets prevail against Xenia 45-29 by scoring the last 2 touchdowns.
You know, we felt real good going into the game. I had never anticipated scoring that much, but the offense, I thought, did a super job, you know, playing without Logan and, you know, Andy going down early. I thought our backfield ran extremely hard in the line. You know, we lost Doug Saunders again early, twisted his ankle again, and the young people just stood up and did a job. So I tell you, I was really impressed with just the attitude and the go-get-'em type of offensive performance last week. And defensively, I tell you, I couldn't have been even more pleased. You know, it was big plays. You take away the double pass and then that one draw play, and we shut them down pretty good. And, you know, that was a good football team we played. They have 4 Division I players on it. And I know this because I've talked to colleges who are talked about all 4 of them. So, you know, that was a good football team that came to Sydney last week. And to come away with that big of a win, I thought really proved that we can play with some of the bigger teams.
6 extra points and a field goal from Chris Elsner.
Yeah, and that's a great, pleasant surprise. You know, Chris comes out on Thursday, and he's a real good soccer player. So, you know, we let him do all the practicing each week with the soccer, and that's his #1 sport. And then he comes in and did a super job. He's been perfect so far, knock on wood. We don't jinx him, and, you know, tied the school record that David Ike set last year with those 9 points. So he's done a real super job, and he's real consistent.
The injury picture apparently still includes Logan Fair.
Right. Logan is still, you know, with that deep bruise to the gluteus maximus. That's a tough one, and you got to really watch. You know, people laugh at bruised muscle mass, but that is probably one of the bigger muscles in the body, and it's a deep muscle, and he bruised it in extremely very deep, and he was lucky he didn't crack his tip of the hip bone right back there, because that's how hard he hit. So he has a deep one. It's getting better daily. They're ultrasonic. They're using electrical stim, trying to break up the calcium that's depositing, which could be a very serious problem. So they're working on it. Hopefully we'll have him back by Northmont.
The guys who took over for him showed that your football program has some depth at running back.
And that was a real pleasant surprise. We had Mike Chambers and Brad Stockton were just going to fill in for Logan, and unfortunately Andy bruised his AC joint in his shoulder and really couldn't do much besides the punting, and so they had to switch sides, and that's tough. We're a right side, left side halfbacks, and when you take right side halfbacks and say you have to play some left, it's pretty tough for them, and they stood up, did a nice job. Very few mental mistakes, and when you get that kind of performance and hard running beside behind a line that's doing a real good job, I felt real good about their performances.
Tonight, Sydney's at Trotwood Madison. Scott, the Rams are 1-2. Tell us about them.
Well, it's a scary team. We've got to travel down to the Ram country, and they're under a new head coach, and offensively they're kind of searching. They're running a run and shoot. Last year they ran some slot eye. They've got a real tall quarterback, about 6'6", who can throw the ball and scramble, and he's a threat. He broke a 60-yarder, I think, against Taft on just a naked boot, and so you've got to really be concerned about their quickness, speed. Again, their defense is going to swarm, and it's a team that you can't give them any breaks. If you go down there with a great work ethic and you go down there and handle them early, I think it could be in hand like last year. But if you start to put teams in their confidence level and put some more air in their balloon, and it's a dogfight to the end. 2 years ago, I believe we had a better team. They beat us in overtime. So this is the kind of team we're facing tonight, something we've got to take to them at first half. We can't go into the second half with them having that confidence they can win.
Last year here in Sydney, Scott, 63-14. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything that went wrong that night.
No, absolutely, and I'm sure that's bulletin board material. That's hanging down there in their locker room. It's going to be a revenge factor, I know good and well, and we've got to be prepared. We've got to have it strapped on when we get down there and ready to go. And so, our young men are ready to go. I don't know if it'll be that big a score, but our kids are confident, they're playing well, and they're coming off a big win. So, everybody right now is 0-0 in the league. Everybody's in first place, and so everybody holds their own destiny. So we're going to have to get it on tonight and see what happens.
Trotwood defensively.
They're going to run a 4-3, and they're going to try to bring people. They're going to try to stop our buck, and they're going to try to take away the running game. So it may end up, after we get started, to throwing the football may be the most effective weapon tonight. Last year it was a little bit of everything, but I anticipate a lot of blitzing, a lot of different looks up front. Even though it's a 4-3 defense, I anticipate them trying to stop our buck sweep and our inside trap. And load up inside. So it's going to be one of those, we're going to have to be very sound up front offensively and making the right line calls. And if we do that, I think we can pick up most of their games.
Do their special teams present an opportunity for us?
Definitely. We feel that, we can get a blocked punt or a blocked field goal tonight. And we're going to definitely come after some things. And, their snapping's a little slow, so we're definitely going to take advantage. Some of our scouts were telling us that special teams were a real weak point of theirs. Now, they may end up being great tonight, but this is something that we've definitely worked hard on this week, and we plan to hopefully make special teams a big part of our success.
Thanks, Scott. Coach Roddy will rejoin us before next week's game against Northmont at Sydney's Julia Lamb Stadium. We'll be returning to Trotwood, but first, these words.
Napa Auto Parts claims to have over 125,000 parts. We'll see how easy it is to get one. Here with me, Stan, Napa guy. Stan, I need a fan belt for an 87 Ford Aerostar.
Got it.
An oil pan gasket for an 82 Mustang.
Got it.
72 Pinto wheel bearings.
I got 'em.
A generator for a 58 Edsel.
Standard or heavy duty?
Well, I don't know. Heavy duty.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
You'll have to wait till morning for that one.
Oh.
First Call Auto Supply is your Napa dealer in the Sydney Plaza at I-75 and State Route 47. Chances are the parts you need are in stock and immediately available. If not, First Call's Napa warehouse has over 125,000 parts, and you'll have exactly what you need the next morning. See Tom, Mike, or Tony at First Call Auto Supply in the Sydney Plaza, or call them at 498-0678. Make your vehicle Napa brand new with a visit to First Call Auto Supply.
Photon torpedoes for the Starship Enterprise.
A standard or heavy duty?
You're kidding, right?
This is Bruce Dickman of the Dickman Insurance Agency, representing the Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company. I deal with individuals and small businesses in the areas of life and health insurance, disability income, and pension planning. I'm located just south of People's Federal in downtown Sydney, at the corner of Ohio and South Streets. I'll be glad to meet with you to discuss your personal or business situation. Call me, Bruce Dickman, at the Dickman Insurance Agency. While I have your attention, I'd like to extend an invitation on behalf of the Sydney Vespa Quarterback Club. If you'd like to review tonight's game film with head coach Scott Rowdy, you're welcome to join us this Tuesday night at 7:30 at the Sydney Moose Lodge. A brief business meeting precedes the film. We also encourage you to join the Vespa Quarterback Club in support of Sydney football.
Live at Bob Driver Stadium here in Trotwood, Ohio, this is Dave Ross along with Dale Given on Yellow Jacket Replay on Warner 13. Glad to have you with us here this evening. Dale, crisp night for football. We didn't have too many of these a year ago. In fact, a lot of short pants and T-shirts in 1994.
And up till this evening, we had a lot of short pants and T-shirts. But cold front moved through yesterday, and it's a crisp fall evening here at Trotwood. And we should have a whale of a ball game, Dave, as there's almost no breeze at all, just the flag down to our right moving ever so slightly. We had a strong wind during the course of the day, but it's laid now, so we should just have excellent conditions for a superb ball game.
Yellow Jackets and the Trotwood Madison Rams, Sydney 2-1 in the pre-league portion of the campaign. Trotwood came out at 1-2. Ross Media, in cooperation with Channel 13 Productions, is pleased to be bringing you the exciting football action of both the Sydney Yellow Jackets and Lehman Cavaliers here on Warner 13. Sydney games can be viewed every Saturday morning at 9 in this time slot, while every Lehman home game played in either Sydney or Piqua, one of those next week, airs the next Monday at 6. We hope you'll join us often, and we'll set that VCR to record future presentations. Then you can create your own instant replays while viewing the proceedings at your convenience. These telecasts are made possible through the cooperation of the participating schools and the financial support of over 24 local community-minded businesses. Thanks to all concerned from Ross Media and Channel 13 Productions, your partners in locally televised high school sports. Your partner in good football is the Dog Pound behind the Sydney Econo Lodge at I-75 and State Route 47 in Sydney. Watch this same Yellow Jacket replay on Monday night at 6:30, preceding the weekly NFL game on the Dog Pound's big screen. Also follow the Cleveland Browns, Ohio State Buckeyes, and all of your favorites while free snacks are served. You'll also enjoy their full menu, including the weekday lunch buffet, evening meals, and Sydney's best chicken wings. For the best in football, food, and beverage, it's the Dog Pound. Dale, the Jackets survived last week against Xenia. We were looking at a 31-29 ball game. The Buccaneers went for 2, didn't get it. Sydney tacked on a couple of more scores and went home a 16-point winner.
Well, you're right, Dave. It was a very big win for the Yellow Jackets, and I think they answered a lot of questions last week. One of those questions being, how deep are the Yellow Jackets? And they showed with a lot of injuries last week, they were able to bounce back. A lot of fellows, young men coming off the bench and filling in for those injured teammates, and did just a whale of a job. The other question they answered, and that was one that was asked after the Bell Fountain contest, and that was, can the team come back? They dug themselves an early hole against Bell Fountain, looked to be regaining momentum and about to get back in the ball game, and then adversity struck in the second half, and they basically folded for the remainder of the game and came away a loser. Last week against Xenia, it appeared that the game was well in hand for the Yellow Jackets, and then Xenia got their second win and came on strong like gangbusters as you mentioned, came within 2 points. The 2-point conversion was no good. And that's when we were going to find out if the Jackets were going to be a for-real team for the season, I think. And they answered that question affirmatively as they were able to come up with 2 very critical scores and shut out Xenia in the second half, the remainder of the way, and came away with a real nice victory.
John, if you can get a look at the officials on this sideline, you'll see some guys who are not content to stand around. They're starting to move, and I think also starting to wonder why they didn't wear sleeves here this evening. The Minster State Bank is your locally owned and operated full-service financial institution, providing up-to-date financial services delivered directly to you by folks you know and trust. Whether you're looking for competitive rates on your deposits, a custom-tailored loan, or most any financial service, why sacrifice convenience, safety, or personal attention? Get it all the way you like it at any of their offices in Sydney, Minster, New Bremen, Wapakoneta, or St. Mary's. That's the Minster State Bank, member FDIC, and an equal opportunity lender. Serving the Sydney area with great food for some 35 years, well, that's Frisch's on Wapak Avenue. While Frisch's will always be synonymous with its own famous Big Boy, you'll also find a wide and varied selection, including their home cooking dinner menu. And be sure to check Frisch's featured dessert. Right now, apple dumplings, homemade and delicious. Try them a la mode. Yes, for a snack or a meal, come see Barry Eilert and the good people at Frisch's in Sydney. If you haven't been there for a while, you're in for a real treat. Dale, as we move toward kickoff, what's new at Travel to Paradise?
Well, Dave, some of the things to think about at Travel to Paradise, as always, is our upcoming escorted ski trips. But something that's just happened, a lot of people are talking Air Wars right now. There are some reduced rates out there if you're thinking about a trip in the near future or even further down the road. Now is an excellent time to talk with the travel professionals at Travel to Paradise. Another interesting tidbit, great deals right now on cruises. They're very, very popular throughout the winter months. Everyone's wondering what happened in the Caribbean with all of the hurricane activity, but that has now subsided. They have changed some ports of call. St. Thomas is a mess, quite frankly, and they've changed from stopping there to some other of the more beautiful islands throughout the lower islands in the Caribbean. And with some great deals, you book early for a spring trip, and you can be deducted as much as $250 per person on every cruise. So it's something to think about. And if this was the year you were going to take that cruise, why not talk with us, the cruise experts at Travel to Paradise.
Travel to Paradise in downtown Sydney, local and toll-free numbers in your yellow pages. Just about ready to kick this one off. We've got a brand new scoreboard to work with this evening here at Bob Driver Stadium. The Jackets made their first visit here some 20 years ago under head coach Dave Gates. At that time, getting things started in the old Miami Central Conference before these schools 7 years later collectively made the move to the greater Miami Valley Conference. Looks like some good turf out there too tonight, Dale.
The field looks to be in excellent shape. We mention that every week. Of course, our home field down at Julia Lamb, due to the tough weather we had during the summer and with all of the activity that takes place there, is not in the best of shape. But here you can see a few bare spots, not nearly as nice as the conditions of the field at Bellefontaine a couple of weeks ago, but yet it appears to be a good surface, not overly wet. It should be good footing, and with a crisp evening, just a great evening for football.
In their most recent outings, Sydney took Xenia 45-29, and it was Springfield North besting Trotwood Madison 18-7. Ryan Moran will be the Jacket kicker. Dale, he was much deeper and higher a week ago.
Well, he's a sophomore, and you can credit that to experience and confidence. As every game has progressed, he's gotten stronger and stronger, and consistently was kicking the ball inside the 12-yard line last week.
Moran will move into the football. Here's the boot. It's a knuckler that will head to the sideline. That is fielded and consequently downed. That'll be number 3, Greg Wiley for Trotwood Madison. With the knee down, he is down. Interesting looking kick. Trotwood Madison will start things with Andre Hudson at quarterback out at the 27-yard line. So from Sydney's point of view, that doesn't turn out too badly.
You're right, Dave. Not exactly what he had in mind. I'm sure he was planning on kicking it deep. Sydney is excited about their possibilities on the special teams, and we're going to look at some interesting sizes on some of the players from Trotwood tonight.
They'll go with the I formation, 3 wideouts. Handoff will be to the second man through. That's Bikes. He'll be brought down by a host of Jacket defenders out at about the 31-yard line. That'll be a pickup of, we'll call it about 4. It'll be second down and consequently a long 6 yards to go for the first. We are just underway from Trotwood Madison.
Well, the Jackets seem to have that bottled up, but Bikes with good leg drive was able to move the pile forward and pick up an extra couple of yards.
Gerald Bikes, number 34, is the tailback. Hudson, an outstanding quarterback and basketball player, throws the slant. He got a completion. That's good to 82. It's McKinney. He'll take the football into Yellow Jacket territory all the way down to the 35-yard line. Kent Witt in on the stop for the Yellow Jackets. So that's going to be a first down. 19 to midfield, 15 more to the 35, Dale. It's a gain of 34.
34-yard completion, Dave, and a quick slant using their speed. And we know they've got great athletes at the wideouts. He was able to bring that pass in and cut it up across the middle.
Hudson completing only 29% of his passes entering this evening. Here's the eye once again. Motion comes this way. Hudson handed it off to Mike Elder on the first leg. Our vantage point lower than we're used to here this evening, but believe me, we're glad to be in the house, no problem there. Just explaining the fact that we might not be picking up numbers as quickly as we normally do. The gain on the play will be 4 yards. It'll be second down 6, and that's the second time that after a first down that has occurred.
Elder's a real low 250-pound fullback, and Jackets trying to bring him down had a difficult time.
Elder's the up man. Both backs are in a standing position. There's Elder, the fullback. He's got some yardage, breaks a couple of tackles, gets inside the 20 down to the 19-yard line with about 5 or 6 yards to spare. That will be a Trotwood first down. Johnson and Neves in on the tackle for the Jackets. That'll be another first down.
But a 12-yard gain on the play, and just a quick opener right off tackle, blocked very well that time by Trotwood. And they're moving the ball seemingly at ease against the Yellow Jacket defense.
We remember a big Trotwood fullback named William Houston back in 1988 who went on to play at Ohio State, mainly at some tight end. Second man through that time is 23, Marion Fitton. And Fitton will get a couple against the Sydney right side. Paulus, Allen, see who else is on the bottom. Paul Neves. And as he gets up, he'll check the Sydney sideline to get a signal for a defensive call. It'll be second down, about 8 yards to go. Trotwood Madison with the 6th play of their possession that starts this football game upcoming. I formation, slot left, receiver each way. It's a variation of the run and shoot. Handoff comes this way. Bikes is trapped behind the line of scrimmage. He'll be brought down. Johnson and also Allen there back at about the 20. So that'll restore it to third down and about 10.
Now Neves knifing through, and also a young man, number 40, Ryan Wheeler, did a good job of playing off the block of the fullback Elder, was able to string that play out, allow pursuit to catch up and make the play. Nice loss on the play. It's going to be third and long.
8:41 left in the first period. This is the game's first possession. Look for Hudson to pass. Third and 10. He needs 10. Hits the end zone. He's got a touchdown. No problem over there in the right-hand corner of the end zone, hitting Major Ziegler, number 25. That was a well-thrown football, and it belies the league stats that show him completing only 29%. Trotwood goes 73 yards in 7 plays. It takes a grand total of 3 minutes and 29 seconds. Touchdown Rams.
Oh, very nice job that time. Just ran it straight by, ran right past Dusty Hudson out on the right side, Dave. Nice thrown ball.
Dusty Hudson.
Dusty Lentz.
J.J. Umo will try the point after touchdown. There's the snap in the boot. That's blocked in the middle of the line. Jackets pick it up in the end zone. That can be advanced in college, but not in high school. Trotwood 6, Sydney nothing. We'll see what happens when the Jackets take over. Former Yellow Jacket Woody Sturm at the North Dixie drive-thru in Sydney is glad to support these telecasts here on Channel 13. North Dixie is your complete party supply headquarters, from beverages to ice to chips to charcoal, and those last-minute convenience items like bread and milk. You'll find everything you need from the convenience of your car. That's the North Dixie drive-thru, just south of I-75 on County Road 25A in Sydney. They're open daily at 10 with Sunday sales available. Also featuring all the Ohio lottery games, including the twice-weekly lotto. The North Dixie drive-thru now also carries propane. Trade an empty cylinder for a full one at the North Dixie drive-thru.
Well, Dave, in the conference, even though we haven't started conference play, the Yellow Jackets are dead last in points allowed. And so their defense has given up a lot. They've given up a quick 6 here to Trotwood. We'll see if they're going to be able to answer and with a score of their own.
Rams will boot it off right here. 43, Micah Ward. And don't look for a deep ball.
Micah Ward takes off.
It's very short. It's fielded at the 31-yard line. One of the up men for the Yellow Jackets, Cavender. He'll be knocked out of bounds at the 37. Defensive play by 58, Ryan Murphy. Jackets will set up shop with good field position as Goffney and company take the field.
Well, we'd spoken earlier, and as Coach Roddy said, the special teams really should give the Jackets an edge. Trotwood started on their own 27. The Yellow Jackets start 1st and 10 on their own 37.
Football is at the right hash mark. 6-0 Trotwood. Look for the sweep to this side. Here it comes. Ward, he's got some yardage. The 40, the 45, out to the 46-yard line. That'll be a pickup of 9 yards and make it 2nd down and 1. The Jackets doing some shifting. They think that at least early on will cause Trotwood some problems. They ran into the short side of the field, and the real estate was there just like the coaches drew it up earlier today.
You could really see some good blocking on the ends. They were able to pin the linebacker and the defensive end to the inside, and Ward was able to just bring it straight up the field until he hit the defensive backs.
Jackets go motion to the left side with Chambers. Handoff, a fake to Ward. Goffney rolls out. Wants to put it up just a little bit too tall for 17 Swiger. And that'll be incomplete. We'll go to 3rd down and a yard and look for the Jackets to run to keep the drive alive.
Oh, kind of a free play, if you will, with 2nd down and short. The Jackets go with a pass. Good time to do that. Well defended by Trotwood. Goffney really did not have an open receiver and elected to throw it where only his man could catch it if it was catchable, which it was not. 3rd down and 1.
Shane Brewer or Andy Ward? Let's see. The snap. There's motion. It'll be Shane Brewer. Got plenty of real estate. He'll be good for about 8 or 9 yards for the 1st down. A host of Trotwood tacklers, including Major Ziegler, number 25. He's a familiar name from catching a touchdown moments ago. The Sydney drive will continue for a 4th play.
Just noticing a lot of recognizable numbers on the defensive side. As you mentioned, Bikes is over there along with Ziegler. So they've got a few fellows going both ways.
A lot of schools anymore of all sizes are not getting a lot of kids out for football. Sydney right now being a major exception. Ward splits out instead of being a split back. Goffney to throw. Are they setting up a screen? He'll step up. He had a lot of company, including number 53, Jeremy Beidenbach. And that'll be a sack for the Trotwood defense. It'll be 2nd down and 15 yards to go on the loss of 5.
Now, they play very slow in developing. I couldn't tell, like you, whether it was going to be a screen pass or if they were waiting on a drag pattern, but the pocket collapsed on Goffney before he could get away from anyone.
The GMVC went 14 and 10 against non-conference competition. Now they tee it up against each other. Here's Ward straight up the middle. Got the speed. That football's loose down at about the 20. Whole bunch of people trying to get on it. Let's see. Trotwood at least had the most people there, and they have the football. Down at about the 16-yard line. It was separated from Andy Ward, let's say about the 22.
And I think it might have been Ziegler who did it, Dave, number 25. As he was chasing Andy down from behind, he was the last man to try to stop him. And he was already past the 1st down, but went for the ball. Good play defensively, stripped it. And that'll be about a 30-yard gain, then a fumble.
Trotwood on the offensive. 6:25 to play in the 1st period. Rams, no trouble moving the football the first time they had it. This time Mike Elder will be pushed back by Gibbs, Stockton, a couple of others. So this particular possession will start at the 16-yard line, as we'd indicated.
A negligible gain on the play.
That'll make it 2nd down 10. And we're halfway home in the first quarter.
Well, Dave, a couple weeks ago on the road, the Yellow Jackets hurt themselves in their first 2 offensive possessions, throwing interceptions. Second time on the road this year, they run into a little trouble with a fumble. Turn the ball back over to Trotwood here.
Rams again with the eye and 3 wideouts, 2 of which are to the left. Hudson running the option play is brought down with some good pursuit. Jeremiah Johnson and Paul Neves in on that stop. It's going to go to 3rd down and about 10. Last time the Rams faced that, Dale, a bomb to the right and a touchdown.
Well, a lot of teams like to run away from Jeremiah Johnson, a very active linebacker for the Yellow Jackets, and that time he was able to chase the play down from behind. An excellent pursuit. Gain on the play of 1, 3rd and 9. Look for a pass. Jacket defense needs to step up.
Well, you talk about a deep center fielder. Here's David Johnson. What is he, about 23, 24 yards deep? Hudson rolling right, which is against his body. Wants to throw it downfield. It was through the arms of David Johnson as he was over there defending 23, Marion Fitton. And there's a response from the crowd that they wanted a pass interference call that did not come. 4th down, and as Dale indicated before that play, actually closer to 9 yards to go for the 1st down. We'll note that Trotwood Madison has a new head coach, Roy Toby, a graduate of Marion Local High School, a guy whom I've known for about 15 years. He was an assistant here last year. Before that, had worked at Chaminade Julienne. And the Rams will punt it away. Look for the Jackets to put on some pressure. There it comes. It's an end-over-end kick, but a decent one nevertheless. Brewer will catch it at the 48-yard line, make it the 49. Jackets will put it in play there. 1st down and 10. Trotwood 6, Sidney nothing. 4:55 to play in the first period. Brought to you by the Sidney Shelby County YMCA, the Heinfeld Insurance Agency, Sidney Interstate Shell, the home of the free car wash, and the Dog Pound behind the Sidney Econo Lodge.
Well, 33-yard punt that time for Trotwood. And the previous play on 3rd down, the Jackets very close to getting an interception. If there had not been some contact in that defensive secondary, that ball may have been going the other way.
Jackets shift. Swiger, the tight end, heads right. Ward is the wing to the left. Split backs. This is Stockton following Brewer. He'll get about 6 before being knocked laterally at the 45-yard line as the advance was into Trotwood territory. Diggs in on the tackle. We'll go now to 2nd down, still 4 yards to go for the 1st. Football game moving along quite nicely. We have timeout taken by Trotwood. They want to make some adjustments against the Sidney running game. Your locally owned independent groceries in Sidney are Wilson's Cardinal Foods with 2 locations. Jim Wilson pledges competitive prices among a wide selection, but feels that personal customer service is what really sets them apart. This service includes complimentary carryout from the checkout line to your car. Need a party tray or some delicious fried chicken for your special gathering? How about a birthday cake? Visit Wilson's Cardinal Foods on Wapak Avenue or South Ohio Avenue. They're proud to be a part of this community. Ask for details about delivery service. Wilson's will gladly accommodate those who truly need it.
Well, Dave, the Yellow Jackets' previous play sure looked nice as they run the sweep to the left, and the 2 pulling, the pulling guard and the pulling fullback are both still running as they turn the corner and head upfield. That means they're going to make their initial block, and it should open the play up for 5 to 6 yards. It's exactly what happened. The Jackets seem to have a lot of success in their first possession running the ball, so perhaps Trotwood, not trying to stop the run so much, is trying to stop the pass.
2nd and 4, Yellow Jackets. Football in Trotwood territory just outside the 45-yard line. Counter back this way. That's Ward. He'll kick it wide. Got 1st down yardage. He really wraps up the football this time and gaining down to the 31-yard line. The stop is made by Israel Jackson.
14-yard gain and a Sidney 1st down, and you're absolutely right, Dave, and it's good to see the Jackets call Andy Ward's number again right away after the fumble in the previous possession. It's like just telling the young man, we have confidence in you. We know that was a fluke. Now go get us a 1st down.
Elsewhere in the conference tonight, Greenville is at Butler, Northmont at Piqua, Troy at West Carrollton. Of course, the Yellow Jackets here at Trotwood. And we have official time taken at the 4:19 mark of the first period. The home team, the Rams, leading the Sidney Yellow Jackets 6-0. Now, whatever we encountered is history, and the clock is rolling again. We await 1st down Yellow Jackets. Scouts from Northmont sitting in front of us tonight. That is Sidney's opponent a week from tonight. Goffney will hand it to Ward. He'll sweep to the right, cuts it back inside, got yardage inside the 25, down to about the 23 or 22-yard line. Bikes the primary tackler for the running Rams of Trotwood Madison. That'll take the football down to the 24, where that'll make it second down and only a couple of yards to go.
Another good pickup there, Dave. And, you know, this has got to make the coaching staff happy because they would prefer to run the football all night long and not have to go to the pass. And it looks like they're having great success running against the defense of the Trotwood Rams.
Split backfield once again. Handoff went straight ahead to Brewer. That gets close to the first down. We'll check that. Jason Biggs, 61, the stopper for Trotwood. He will be short of a first down and just barely. No, he got it. He got it. First down, Yellow Jackets, so 2nd and 2. They gain about 2.5, let's say. And that will generate the Sidney first down with the ball at the 21-yard line, right hash mark.
Second first down in this drive. The Yellow Jackets now will hopefully pick up one more or a touchdown before they turn the ball back to Trotwood.
Rams by 6. Stockton in motion to the left. Second man through is Ward. Got some room. He'll get inside the 10 down to the 9-yard line. It'll be a pickup of a dozen for another Sidney first down, which is the third of what has only been a 5-play possession.
And we're going to have a stoppage of play. I believe we have an injured Trotwood player. So the coaching staff will come out, and we'll take time in from a word from one of our sponsors.
Right now at Area Energy and Electric, your authorized Cellular One agent, when you sign up for a 2-year service contract, you get an AudioVox portable cellular phone free. That's right, it's free. You pay nothing. No matter how you say it, it just sounds good. All you have to do is head straight to Area Energy and Electric, sign up for a 2-year contract, and you not only get a high-quality AudioVox 425 portable cellular phone for free, but you also get the Cellular One quality that you can count on. Not to mention quality customer service before, during, and after the sale. It's a $180 value, and it's all yours when you visit Area Energy and Electric off Route 29 just north of Sidney. New activations only. Restrictions and certain rate plans apply. This offer extended through September 30th. Area Energy and Electric also now featuring pagers.
Well, Dave, our injured player, number 25, Major Ziegler, who caught the touchdown pass earlier and plays on the defensive side as well, shaken up but comes off trotting under his own power. I'm sure he'll be back in short order.
First and goal from the 9 at the right hash for the Jackets in a bid to at least initially tie this football game. Stockton sweeps left, cuts it back into the right, inside the 5, maybe the 3-yard line. Jason Biggs got there once again for the Rams. Jackets will look at second down and short, maybe from the 2.
Good run that time. Once again, the sweep, well blocked by the Yellow Jackets. Actually, the spot's going to be about the 1. We don't have the best view, but spotters tell us it's at the 1.
Here's a handoff straight ahead. Ward the dive. He's got a touchdown. That, at least for the moment, will tie things. The possession taking 2 minutes and 48 seconds. The Jackets 7 plays, 51 yards en route to a tie that Chris Elsner will attempt to break, which would give Sidney a 7-6 lead. He's been perfect on 8 extra points, 6 last week, 2 against Bellefontaine. The fine soccer player also making a field goal last week as he had 9 kicking points in the game to become the 3rd player in school history to have that mark. That's a good boot. It's down, up, and good. He's 9 for 9 on the season, and the Jackets have taken a 7-6 lead. Mike Meyer at Meyer's Garage and Drive-Thru Carryout in Newport appreciates his Sidney area customers and is glad to be a part of this telecast. Meyer's offers complete auto and truck repair and service, including 24-hour towing. They feature Pennzoil gasolines, both full and self-serve, along with diesel fuel. Propane is also available. That's Meyer's Garage and Drive-Thru Carryout in Newport at routes 47 and 66, where the drive-thru always has a pop special that always has no limit. A good Sidney response, Dale.
Well, Dave, that's what Sidney needed to do. They came right down the field, did not throw the ball, did not turn it over, got the score, extra point. They're up by 1 point, 7-6, and the fans across the way and a nice following the Jackets bring down here to the Dayton area are very happy about that fact. And let's see if the defense can do what they did the last time.
The league's top passer with a 55% completion and 22.1 yards per catch. Derek Goffney didn't have to put it in the air right there as Moran gets ready to kick off. Sydney will see what they can do with a 7-6 lead as they go on defense. A much better boot will come back to the 11-yard line. Straight ahead with the return. Jackets with a nice tackle. That's 41 for the Jackets, Kent Witt. He's played some nice football through 3+ weeks. And the gain will be out to the 31-yard line where it's going to be first down 10, Trotwood.
About a 20-yard return straight up the middle of the field. Well defensed by the Jackets. Everybody stayed in their lanes, got good penetration, and as we said, special teams a big part of this game tonight, and the Yellow Jackets seem to be executing very nicely.
Rams again with the eye. Elder, the big man, the fullback. You get a good look at him. They'll hand him the football. Witt stands him up, gets some help. And that'll be stopped after a yard, certainly no more than that.
Elder needed to cut back because the Jackets really stuffed it at the line. Shows good agility for a young man that size. But the Jackets are able to close it down and drop him. Gain on the yard, or gain on the play of just about a yard, maybe a tad more. Let's make it second down and make it a short 9.
The wing is to the right, behind the quarterback. Hudson back to throw, unloads it. Boy, he hit his man on the button. Beautiful throw to Derek McKinney, 82, but that football simply on a slant pattern was dropped.
It was, David. Trotwood runs an interesting pattern on that. They bring 2 receivers together, and with the height of their quarterback being as tall as he is, he's able to throw it over the first man to the second man, and the Jackets get caught going for the wrong fella. Both times they were able to get to their man. The big gainer on their opening drive was set up because of that exact same formation. They went to the well that time. This time, as you mentioned, it was just dropped.
Look for a pass, third down, and a little over 8 to go. There's the play fake. Hudson wants to throw. He's got company. As he's going down, he throws it. It'll be intercepted. Johnson, with a return, will take it back to the 31-yard line. Even with a punting game that might be suspect, that is a better outcome in all likelihood for the Jackets.
Well, Dave, we've been wondering when we're going to get one picked off, and what a great interception that was. John Johnson was back deep with his man, saw it floating, and turned immediately and came sprinting up the field, took it in stride. And then the Trotwood player trailing the play tried to strip the football, but he held on. A nice job by Johnson. Gets the turnover. The Jackets in business. First and 10. The ball's going to be spotted on the 31-yard line of Trotwood.
With 1:03 to go in the period. Jackets already have a 7-6 lead. Both teams with touchdowns. Jackets with an Elsner extra point. The Trotwood kicking point was blocked by Sydney as the Rams had scored first.
A little delay on the field. The referee has called both teams together and I think has given a little lecture. Apparently something happened on the field in that last exchange, and he's nipping it in the bud very early, basically saying, gentlemen, we'll have none of that.
But it was sans penalty flags. Preventative officiating, not a bad idea. Chambers to the left. He'll cut it back and got, oh boy, a couple. That'll be about the extent of that.
Yeah, he got right to the 30-yard line and was dropped immediately. Excellent pursuit that time by the Rams as Mike was trying to cut the ball up, but you got to spread the ball around in this type of offense to keep everybody honest. Pick up on the play of about, make it 2.
We'll call it 2nd and 8. Football from the middle of the field, squarely between the hashes. We've got another official time. Got a Trotwood player maybe with a mouthpiece. Mouthpiece adjustment. And here come the Jackets. Clock winding down. This may be the final play of the period. Handoff Brewer. Tries the middle. Got 4 or 5. Eddie Leisure makes the stop. English also in on the play. 7, 6, 5. That means Sydney will start period number 2, facing 3rd down and 4 yards to go. End of 1 quarter from Bob Driver Stadium in Trotwood, Ohio. It's 7-6, Sydney. Since 1907, homemade fresh food has always been served and enjoyed at the Spot Restaurant on Courthouse Square in downtown Sydney. The current feature at the Spot, a country fried steak sandwich, just $1.10. The Spot offers dine-in, carry-out, and curb service, in addition to catering for any size group. That's the Spot Restaurant, a great Sydney tradition for well over 85 years. Tonight's sponsors also include the Minster State Bank, First Call Auto Supply, the Spot and Frisch's Restaurants, whom we just heard from, People's Federal Savings and Loan Association, and Travel to Paradise.
Well, Dave, the first period in a nutshell is Sidney kicks off. Trotwood moves the ball very easily against the Yellow Jackets, comes up with a score. Extra points no good. The Jackets fumble their opening opportunity, but defense has been the name of the game for the Jackets since that time. They hold Trotwood. Following a punt, they score and then come up with an interception in Trotwood's next possession. And now the Jackets knocking on the door, faced with a third down and a long three. Make it about, let's make it third down and 3. And that's going to put Sidney, I would say, in 4 down territory. Look for him to try to go with 2 running plays here and punch across another first down.
Third down for the Jackets. They shift the tight end. The wing is to the right side. Ward will take the football that way. Almost slipped. Got the first down. He'll get the ball close to the 20-yard line. The first man to trip him up was Woody Bryant, number 59. At least yeah, he got there. There we go. First and 10 Yellow Jackets as they try to add to a 7-6 lead. Again at halftime, the band show. The Sidney Band will be performing first, and as per usual, that's through the courtesy of Mutual Federal Savings Bank in Sidney and Piqua. The Jackets content to run it, and they've been getting good results. There's Chambers over the right. Got a couple of more. 67, Chris English, the first man there for the Rams. That'll be a gain of 3. He's down to the 18. It'll be second down 7 at that point.
Some tough sledding inside for Chambers as Brewer was really stood up and was knocked back into Chambers just as he was receiving the handoff. But he was able to get free of that and move ahead for a good 3-yard gain.
The receiver, Dickman, comes to this side. The wing is to the right. Goffney rolls this way, wants to throw, got a man in the end zone, or he can take off. The 15, the 10, the 5, touchdown Sidney. Derek Goffney will run it in from 18 yards away.
Well, Dave, you got to like what you saw right there. Derek Goffney rolls out with a man right on his heels, and it was just like he reached down and shifted it into overdrive and pulled away from Trotwood. It looked like they had 3 people with angles on him to the end zone, but the young man showed that he does have foot speed. He was just kind of loping along and then just pulled away from the pack, took it in for a touchdown. 18-yard score. The Jackets are in business.
The Jackets again will shift everybody over, as you see on your Channel 13 screen, and Goffney will hold for Elsner, who tries to stay perfect on the season. It's a high snap. The ball is down. The kick is up. That young man's got a nice leg, Dale.
Boy, he sure does. He hit that one sweet, and you've got to figure he's only going to get better as the season progresses. And that baby was well back, almost on the track on the fly.
Jackets lead 14-6, 10:55 till halftime. Stop in and check out the Sidney office of the, the First National Bank in New Bremen. They're currently located at 108 East Poplar Street with American Budget Company. Dave Voizard reports the groundbreaking on their new Russell Road facility took place last week. In the meantime, come in and ask about a Passbook savings account. Ideal for young and old alike with a minimum balance of just $10. The First National Bank in New Bremen is a member of the FDIC and an equal housing lender. Now on the grow in Sidney, the First National Bank in New Bremen says it always pays to think first. We congratulate them on their groundbreaking.
Dave, the Trotwood Rams, averaging only about 14 points per ball game this year, are staring at the Yellow Jackets with a, they haven't put the point on the board yet, but I've got it as 14.
Yeah, there's no way that missed. Here's the kickoff for Moran. Down the middle of the field, it'll carry to about the 13-yard line. It's Bikes up to the 20. 25, legs taken out from under him. Nice job in the open field for the Yellow Jackets by John Spradling, who caught a key pass last week.
Caught one in the flat and turned in a nice piece of running for the Yellow Jackets, he did, and that time with a nice open field tackle. Almost got caught sneaking into the middle too far, but as Bikes tried to run around the end, he didn't have enough speed to get the job done. Good open field tackle. Trotwood first and 10, the ball on their own 26-yard line.
Meaning they're 74 yards away from pay dirt. Motion to this side. Hudson will pitch it back. Bikes tried to turn the corner. He'll be brought down for a loss of close to 3 yards. Stockton 24 up for the Yellow Jackets. Luke Allen was there. Gibbs 74, Paul Neves 34. Also in on the tackle. That'll be second down 13 for the Rams, 10-19 till intermission.
Well, Dave, when the opposing team runs a sweep and the people making the tackle are your two middle linebackers, your defense has worked it perfectly, and that's just what the Jackets did there. Great pursuit, and then cutting through to make the tackle with the two middle people for the Yellow Jackets. Loss in the play of 3.
And it's second down. Hudson with a play fake. It's the counter back the other way. Witt stayed home and did a nice job tackling the wing, Jarrell Bikes, number 34. The gain will be a couple. That'll make it third down, 11 yards to go for the first down. Call it 3rd and 10. Dave Ross with Dale Given in Trotwood. Our cameraman, John Hemp from Hemp Imagery in Sydney.
I expect the Jackets have learned their lesson from last week on the draw play, and that time, as you mentioned, the Yellow Jackets staying home and stopping that play from going for big yardage.
Again, look for the pass. Hudson goes back to throw it. He takes a blitz. That ball will be underthrown out in the left flat. Intended for Drew Mark over there, split end, number 80. It falls incomplete. Trotwood, for the second time tonight, will be forced to punt. And look for the Jackets to put on a lot of pressure and drop back Brewer in single safety.
Well, the two early completions by Trotwood, one was the quick slant pattern thrown perfectly, and then the touchdown pass to the right corner of the end zone. But since then, the Jackets have been able to get a good pass rush.
Good snap from center. Here's the boot. A line drive away from Brewer will hit, take a Trotwood bounce to the benefit of about 6 yards. And the football dead at the 42-yard line. Jackets take it over at that point. Sydney High School football began in 1896. By that time, one of our sponsors was already 10 years old. In 1886, the People's Insurance Agency was founded. In 1926, the business became the Reese Insurance Agency, as it remains almost 70 years later. The Reese Insurance Agency is located in Courtview Center in downtown Sydney, offering a full range of personally tailored insurance services for both individuals and businesses. Two Sydney traditions, Jacket football and Reese Insurance. Ward on the sweep to the right side, finds it to his liking to the tune of about a 9-yard gain in front of the Sydney bench. English in on the tackle for Trotwood Madison. Jackets should have second down and about a yard.
Well, Coach Roddy said he wanted to go with the buck sweep tonight, and that's what we've seen a lot of, and with great success. That time, Ward following his blockers very nicely, and as soon as they applied the leather, he cut it up quickly up the field and was able to get a nifty 9-yard pickup.
That second extra point hasn't been posted. We may want to double check that. I was pretty sure with where it landed that it had to be good, but we will make an effort to verify that before we move on very far.
Fumble.
The ball's fumbled. Ward is able to get on it. It'll be a loss of about 4 or 5. He got on it, though, as Israel Jackson got there in a big hurry for Trotwood, so Sydney will go to third down and about 6 as they left it on the turf.
Well, Dave, that time the Jackets going with the reverse. They handed the ball off to Stockton, and then with Ward cutting back across the middle, a poor exchange between Stockton and Ward. The ball went to the turf, but Andy quickly bounced back on the football, loss on the play of about 4 yards.
The wing comes in motion this way. Handoff up the middle. Andy Ward got big yardage. He's inside the 35 down to the 34-yard line. And that'll definitely be a first down. So the drive will continue for Sydney.
Good run that time once again by Ward. We keep sounding like a broken record, with the Jackets having great success, letting Andy Ward carry the pigskin.
Wing right comes in motion once again. A little bit of a delay. Andy Ward will get inside the 30 down to the 29-yard line. That'll be a pickup of 5. It'll go to second down 5. So as time moves on, we don't see any real protest on that second extra point not being up there. So we're isolated from the scorer, but we would believe in that case that 13-6 would be accurate. But when Sydney scores again, we'll get a real chance to confirm it. It's second down and 5. Less than 7 minutes to go in the half when we'll hear from the Sydney band at the outset.
Andy.
This is straight ahead. The fake was to Ward outside. They tried Brewer straight ahead. And Brewer got, what, 3 of those 5?
It looks like the spot's going to be about the 26-yard line. He's going to be a long yard short of a first down. 3rd down, Jackets driving. The clock's still moving at 6:22 left to go into halftime.
Football at the 27-yard line, and for the second time tonight, the Trotwood Madison Rams have called timeout. Dale, check on that PAT. More of our sponsors include the North Dixie Drive-Thru Carryout, Wilson's Cardinal Foods, Edward D. Jones and Company with Errol Browd and Allen Browd, Emerson Wagner Realty, Area Energy and Electric, Mutual Federal Savings Bank, our halftime band show sponsor, Myers Garage and Drive-Thru Carryout in Newport, the Reese Insurance Agency, the Sydney office of the First National Bank in New Bremen, FD Lawrence Electric, the Dickman Insurance Agency, the Farrington, and A&B Machine Incorporated. Trotwood now on 2 different occasions has taken time out to try to get the defense set after the Jackets were not having much difficulty moving through.
Well, Dave, I got a clarification, and we apparently did miss the call. The second extra point attempt by Elsner was wide left. Plenty of leg. It just looked from our vantage point to be good, but it was not. So he's missed his first PAT of the season, and we move on from there. Score 13-6. We stand corrected.
That would lead you to believe that the Jackets would go for 2 if they'd get in. Here they look at 3rd down and over a yard to go with the ball at the 27-yard line.
Even though the Jackets do lead by a touchdown and an extra point at 7.
6th play of the Sydney possession. This will be Shane Brewer for first down yardage. He really had that ball wrapped up as he got to the 20-yard line. Among the tacklers, 44, Jeremy Barner. It'll be 1st and 10 Yellow Jackets as that clock moves on. We're almost halfway through the second period. Dale, the pace of this game in terms of playing time resembles opening night with St. Mary's.
Yes, moved very quickly, unlike last week, which seemed to last forever.
Right, it's one of the longer games we've ever worked.
But when you do running plays almost exclusively, that clock has a tendency to continue to run, and the Jackets are running between the tackles, not so much around the end and to the sidelines.
Double wing, Ward in motion. Goffney's getting some heat, unloads to the end zone. Swiger, touchdown, Sydney. A beautifully thrown ball, and Dale, he had some pressure in the offensive backfield.
Well, you could just see he rolled out, and as he looked up, it just like his eyes lit up as he saw, was it Swiger in the end zone? That's exactly right, and as soon as he saw his man open, he just laid it right on the money. An excellent pass, scoring strike for the Yellow Jackets from 20 yards out, and a big 6 on. The Yellow Jackets line up, Dave, to go for 1.
We'll see. The Jackets may have been thinking, too, they take time out. The Jackets had run everybody over to the left as they usually do, and Shane Brewer, it was his call to move everybody over to kick, and when he didn't like what he saw, he went ahead and called time. Don't be surprised if the offense comes back out on the field. We have 5:50 till halftime. The Jackets pending an extra point, leading the Rams by a score of 19-6.
A real nice play, Dave. The Yellow Jackets have gone run, and they'd really drawn Trotwood up. The coaches, I'm sure, up in the booth saw it and said, it's time to go with the play fake, the rollout, and let's slip somebody in behind them because their halfbacks were coming up. Nice pattern run by Josh as he came up, just ran a flag, came up, and once he cut past that defensive halfback, he had about a 5-yard spot, and Goffney is able to get the ball to him quickly enough that he didn't run out of the end zone. He went up, caught the ball very nicely, held on to it, and slid down and then out of the end zone, but it was 6 points for the Jackets, and now you're right, Dave, they will come out and go for 2.
This would put Sydney back onto the even multiples of 7. Wing tee to the right. Goffney fakes to Ward, rolls this way. He can walk that in. 2 points for the Yellow Jackets. That'll make it 21-6 Sydney. So after the Rams scored first, Dale, the Jackets have had it their way.
Oh, they have, David, a nice job of faking, and you've got to like, Derek Goffney's ability. Not only does he throw the ball with great accuracy and good touch, he also runs the ball exceptionally well, and because of his faking, he makes it doubly difficult for the defense to pick up who has the ball. Twice he's come on the bootleg, and both times the halfbacks from Trotwood are running into the line to make a play on the line or on a fullback, and he just skates it around the outside. Real nice job of play fakes from the junior quarterback.
7 plays, 58 yards for the Yellow Jackets. Goffney to Swiger. Extra point with a rollout left. Goffney literally walked right in. I don't mean to say he jogged, but I'm saying the opportunity to walk in was definitely there.
Well, he sure did. The closest man to him was 5 yards deep in the end zone and 10 yards to the inside. He had all the room in the world. I think you or I could have made it without too much difficulty.
Ryan Moran will kick it off from the 40. He's been booting back in the vicinity of the 12-yard line.
His first kick was somewhat of a squib, but still made it down to about the 27. His last two have both been, as you said, very close to the 12, 11-yard line.
There's Moran's boot. This will be a knuckler. Will it be allowed to hit? Nope. Caught by Ziegler up at the 15. He'll go to the 20, 30, out to the 35, maybe the 36-yard line. Let's see as they unstack for the Yellow Jackets. A little bit slow getting up, Jeremiah Johnson.
Yeah, Jeremiah made the tackle. Witt made contact right at the 30. Hit him hard, tried to strip the ball, but unable to do so. But Jeremiah polishing off the ball carrier Ziegler. And Trotwood in business, 1st and 10 on their own 35. Best field position they've had following a Sidney kick.
Rams go from the 36. Hudson, the quarterback, goes back to throw on the slant. That'll fall incomplete. He was looking for Giroux Mark, number 80. We'll go to 2nd down 10 for the Rams.
That's that double slant look that they've given Sidney a couple of times. That time John Johnson coming up very quickly, getting a hand on the football and into the face of Giroux, and he was able to break that up. So the Yellow Jackets seem to have figured a little something out, but I'm sure Trotwood's got to play off of that where they'll pump fake and go deep. You don't want to gamble too much.
Trotwood goes to 2nd and 10. Clock stop, 5:27 till halftime. Long count by Hudson. He'll throw it out in the flat, intended there for Giroux Mark. And that'll be incomplete. John Johnson defending over there for Sidney. 1st and 10 through 2 unsuccessful passing plays has become 3rd and 10.
Well, they got isolation one-on-one out on the right side with John. That time he drove him back off the line, stopped at a little 5-yard button hook. The ball thrown a little high, but I think the young man from Trotwood was guilty of trying to run before he caught the football. The ball went through his hands, and on a cool night, it's tough to hang on to that football sometimes.
Like we said, I bet the referees wish they had some sleeves on. I don't have much doubt about that.
I'm glad I got a coat on.
Thrilled. Hudson will roll out. He'll throw it deep. Shows a good arm in throwing it deep to Giroux Mark, and that'll be incomplete. Johnson defending down at about the opposite 30-yard line. And so 3 straight incompletions, don't run much clock, and Trotwood will kick it away on 4th and 10, 5:18 till halftime.
Well, Dave, he threw that ball over 40 yards on the fly, on the run. So the southpaw quarterback showing a great arm, but just a little high, and good coverage by the Jackets.
Trotwood goes straight to the line to snap the football. It's a line drive kick. Brewer fields it. He should have some room. Gets to the 40, 45, midfield, the opposite 40. Cuts back to the 35. He'll be caught from behind as the gain went to the 29-yard line. So the Jackets will set up with some great field position, already leading the football game 21-6 over Trotwood Madison.
Well, a 30-yard punt and a 35-yard return. Boy, you got to like that. Yellow Jackets that time with the line drive kick, even though they had 3 men going for the ball, a nice blocking pattern set up on the far side of the field, and Brewer showed why he's such a dangerous man when he has the football on special teams.
5 minutes till the break. Chambers in motion. Brewer's the second man.
It was Ward.
Ward will pick up about 6 or 7. Following into the line for the Yellow Jackets, 75 Doug Saunders. Good to see him back after an ankle recurrence last week.
Well, it sure is difficult sometimes when you've got a number 4 and a number 43 and you just catch a little piece of the ball carrier, and the 2 young men look and run very similarly, and it makes it difficult sometimes. Right now, unofficially, I've got Andy Ward over 100 yards already in the first half.
2nd and 4 on the gain of 6. Andy had 30 on a play where a fumble occurred. Goffney fakes it, rolls this way, looking to put it up. He'll tuck it up to the 20, gets down to the 17-yard line. That'll be a Jacket first down with about 3 yards to spare.
I got to think that was a run play all the way, Dave, as that time Goffney came around. He was looking at Spradlin, who was down by the goal line, but Spradlin never turned around. He just kind of stood there, and I think he's ready to block. I don't believe that was to be a pass. I think that was a run all the way. Pick up on the play of about 7 yards and a Yellow Jacket first down.
By the time of the snap, we'll have about 4 minutes till the break. Split backs behind Goffney, wing and receiver to the wide side, the right. This is Ward, tries to move outside of a block by Brewer. We'll have holding against the Yellow Jackets. I believe that'll be whistled on Chambers in the offensive backfield. That would be a 10-yard call against Sidney that would set up 2nd and 20.
Well, it'd be our first penalty in the ball game, which
a good sign.
Which is something you like to see. Exactly. Yeah, 10-yard mark off against the Jackets for holding, and really Chambers didn't have much choice because good penetration by Trotwood. That play was destined to go nowhere, and he basically tackled his defender. The referee was right there, made it an easy call for him. So they'll step off 10 against the Jackets, and that'll bring the ball back close to the. He goes to the spot of the foul, and it was in the backfield. So the Jackets lose 3 yards on the initial call, and then another 10 yards on the mark off. So total loss on the play of 13 brings up first down and 23.
Exactly right, Dale, on the spot foul. Look for a throw here. 3:45 second period. Chambers in motion. They'll fake to him. Goffney with a rolling pocket to the right, unloads it deep. Got a man out there just over the outstretched arms of David Johnson, number 2.
Boy,
It'll fall incomplete. We'll go to 2nd and 23.
He had quite a choice. He elected to go for the home run, but running all by himself about 10 yards downfield was Shane Brewer. He gets the ball. He's going to pick up the first down because there was no one near him, and he would have been able to clip off another 10 to 15 yards very easily. So a good play for the Jackets, but it comes up empty, and Goffney throws it high over the head of of his intended receiver in the right corner of the end zone.
Dickman splits right. Double handoff. Ward has it. Can he get the corner turned? Yes. He'll get to the 20. Down to maybe the 17-yard line before being knocked out of bounds over there. First contact by Barner of Trotwood, 44. So Sidney will look at 3rd down and a little bit more manageable. Maybe back to the, let's say, 3rd and a dozen. Ward gets 11 right there, and Dale, as you said, statistically, he's had a big first half.
Well, I got him at 121 yards so far, Dave, and we still have 3 minutes, 15 seconds to go until halftime.
That's with the clock stopped since the play carried out of bounds. Some deliberations going on? No, apparently not. Football now signaled ready for play, and apparently it did not carry out of bounds because the clock is being allowed to start. Wing is to the right, receiver Dickman to the left. Goffney rolls this way. Look, if he looked for Dickman, he'd have been wide open. Instead, it goes to Ward on a screen. He's got room on the other side, and he'll be ruled out of bounds at the 13-yard line. So the Jackets will look at 4th down and
Ryan Murphy makes the play for
about 4.
Well, let's
Make it 5.
All right, that'll be a pickup on the play of about 6 yards. So the Jackets go with the screen pass. So now with a 4th and 5, possibly field goal territory, but with this type of lead, I think the Jackets are going to go for the first down, which they are.
Sidney up by 15. Goffney rolls this way. Will he take off? No, he'll drill it. That was through the hands. That's a secondary receiver. The ball had been touched by Chambers, and let's see if that, maybe the ball had hit the turf before it got to Brewer. I'm not sure on the consecutive touch rule in high school. I'd have to reference that one. Perhaps it was that the ball hit the ground. At any rate, Trotwood Madison has taken over.
They'll throw just a little bit behind Chambers, who got a hand on it and deflected it away from Brewer, as you mentioned. But Goffney really had some people to choose from. Trotwood, however, is now coming up and playing honest on Derek Goffney on the rollouts, which should allow him some receivers to get open.
A very deep safety for the Yellow Jackets is number 2, David Johnson. Hudson will hand it off straight ahead, and no yardage there whatsoever.
It's going to be a loss on the play of 2, as the spot is going to be at the 10-yard line, so the Yellow Jackets start beginning to dominate the line of scrimmage.
Fitton carried for a loss of 1. It'll be, let's make it a loss of 2. It'll be 2nd down and a dozen. as the sequence starts at the 13-yard line. 2:10 till halftime. Jackets showing blitz with Jeremiah Johnson. He instead will drop back and flat pass protection. Hudson will throw it deep, a good-looking ball, but that's well over everything.
Good
and well out of bounds.
Yeah, good coverage that time by number 30 for the Yellow Jackets, Howie Ludwig, going stride for stride. He tried the pump fake, and Howie didn't bite on it at all. And as Hudson rolled out, the Yellow Jackets had 4 men converging very quickly, and he did the right thing and just unloaded it out of bounds to keep himself from being sacked for a loss. That stops the clock at 1:50 to go until halftime. It's going to be 3rd down and long. Dave, the Jackets have a chance to get this football back with some time left on the clock. Sydney still has all 3 timeouts remaining.
Hudson with a play fake, or excuse me, handed the football off. And that didn't go anywhere.
Let's see if the Jackets try to stop the clock here. And they do.
Mike Elder carried the football, the big fullback, and he's brought down
line of scrimmage.
Yep, right at the 10-yard line, so that didn't move in the least. We'll go to 4th down 12. And there's a timeout taken. Coaches will come onto the field. You know, as we get right to halftime, we'll be looking at a band show, and high school football has a great tradition in this part of the country, and the sound of the high school marching band is as much a part of that tradition as the game itself. That's why Mutual Federal Savings Bank of Sydney and Piqua is again pleased to help put tonight's Pride of Sydney halftime band show into the spotlight, reflecting Mutual Federal's ongoing community involvement. Mutual Federal Savings Bank has been your locally owned financial center for over 75 years, and they're justifiably proud of the role they play in the local economy. If your bank has been changed, maybe you should change to Mutual Federal, which at the outset of halftime will invite you to enjoy the Pride of Sydney marching band. Music from around the world is the theme of this year's halftime programs.
Well, here comes the big play. The Yellow Jackets, I'm sure, will try to get the punt blocked. If not, a decent return.
Here's the punt. It's a line drive. Brewer will be able to catch it out at the 42. He'll take it to the right. Held up for just a minute. Gets down into the 30. Down to the 28-yard line, so the Jackets will set up with great field position.
30-yard line drive kick that time. Brewer did a nice job of hanging on to it as the Trotwood punter just unloaded as fast as he could. And Brewer eluded one tackler and was able to get a nice little, about a 13-yard run back. So the Jackets, with 1:28, have time to put some points on the board.
And with the clock moving.
And plenty of time to run the football, too. They don't have to go for that touchdown in the air right now.
Dickman and Ward are both split this way. Single back in behind Goffney, who wants to throw. He does put it up deep. Ward was open, but it's over his head down around the goal line. A couple of Trotwood defenders down there were Wiley and Jackson, numbers 3 and 1 respectively. We'll go back to a 2nd down 10 for Sydney from the 28-yard line. Still 1:10 on the clock. One thing that does, no touchdown, stop clock.
Well, once again on a pattern, Dave, and this has happened several times, and it just may be coincidence, but once again, coming out of the backfield with Shane Brewer was wide open in the flat. A pass that's worked very nicely for the Jackets. The defenders were very deep. He drops it off in the flat. He's going to pick up a good 10 to 15 yards, maybe more, and probably get out of bounds to stop the clock. So perhaps the Sydney coaching staff, and I believe they've called a timeout to talk things over after an incomplete pass at 1:10. There is some stoppage of play. But, Dave, you really expect the Yellow Jackets to try to, get the ball out of bounds on a running play or perhaps throw one into the flat. That time they went to the end zone. Incompletion. Right now, Goffney is only 2 of 6 passing the football. But the running game has been very, very strong. And this might be a good time to come with a little misdirection and a quick hitter. Something to keep Trotwood off balance might work very nicely. That timeout was taken, I believe, by Trotwood.
They've taken all 3 this half to make sure that their defense was well abreast of the scheme. It'll be 2nd and 10 Sydney. Goffney back to throw, steps up amongst some traffic, moves downfield, gets inside the 20 down to about the 18-yard line. That looks good for a first down from this angle. And it is good for the first, so that will stop the clock until things can be reset.
Yellow Jacket.
It's 1st and 10, Sydney. The clock now will resume. We are inside the minute mark at the point of the snap of the football.
I believe that was a designed play to be a quarterback draw, something I had expected the Jackets to use. And now there's a little equipment problem, and the Jackets were at the line ready to roll, and Trotwood in what seemed to be complete disarray. And now we have the referee stopping things for some time so that they can get their huddle together almost.
Clock stopped with 55 seconds. 21-6 Yellow Jackets. Dickman out, David Johnson in as the plays are ushered in from the sideline via the wide receivers.
Now, plenty of time for the Yellow Jackets here, and I would like to see them go with a running play at this point because I think Trotwood is expecting nothing but pass.
Handoff is the second man. That's Ward.
Ward to about the 11-yard line.
He got to the 11.
Clock is continuing
And
to move.
Saunders is slow getting up. Yep, that's 75. That's Doug Saunders. He's got that ouchie ankle. Had to come out last week. They were able to tape him up and resume him for play. But he's on the turf right now and will have to be tended to. Again, it's 21-6 Yellow Jackets. The game brought to you in part by the Sydney Shelby County YMCA, the Heinfeld Insurance Agency, Sydney Interstate Shell, the home of the free car wash, the Dog Pound, the Minster State Bank, First Call Auto Supply, the Spot and Frisch's Restaurants, and Travel to Paradise.
Well, 6-yard gain on the play by Ward. And Saunders is up, and he heads off the field very much like we've seen him do it a couple times this year. And that chronic ankle has been giving him a lot of problems.
Here's a handoff to Ward. He'll sweep it wide to the right, cuts back down to around the 5, maybe inside, a little closer to the goal line.
He's going to be very close, and a Trotwood player down on the field. Very slow to get up.
Right, that's back at about the 6-yard line. He'll have to be tended to.
It's going to be a gain on the play. It appears to be of about 9 yards. First people on the site over there are Sydney coaches.
This takes place with 20 seconds to go in the first half.
And so what was a fast-moving ball game is slowed somewhat by some injuries, and we had plenty of those last week as well.
Dale, as we go into halftime, update us on where we are with our scoring summary.
Well, Dave, the Yellow Jackets lost the opening toss, which means they'll be getting the ball to start the second half. They kicked off to Trotwood, and Trotwood moved the ball very crisply right down the field. The Jackets' defense looked a little porous at that time, and then it was a touchdown pass from Hudson to Major Ziegler from 20 yards out.
Touchdown.
Okay, I see what you're trying to say. I didn't understand what was going on, but we probably picked it up on the cameras. I'm giving the stats. The Yellow Jackets have been awarded a touchdown on that play, so just a little late in coming as they tended to the injury. So the Yellow Jackets with a score. You talk about doing the scoring summary. I need to add to it right now. I mentioned Ziegler scored. Their extra point was no good. It was 6-0, but the Jackets now have answered with 4 straight touchdowns of their own. This one coming from Andy Ward, who ran it in from 11 yards out.
Injured player for Trotwood. That'll be 58, Ryan Murphy. He looks like he's on the verge of getting to his feet. And he's able to do so successfully and will make his way off.
Well, Dave, I'd mentioned I like the running play to work against Trotwood, who were thinking pass. They were really dropping off, and the Jackets went with their best play of the night, and that's been the buck sweep. And Ward was able to take it to the right side, and a good piece of running, and he was able to dive into the end zone. You mentioned coming off the injured player, number 58, that being Ryan Murphy. And he's done a fine job at linebacker tonight. And looks like he may be okay, but I don't know. Looks like that left shoulder might be hiked just a little bit. Jackets will go for a pair.
Goffney will line up the offense with a double wing that brings motion this way. He'll run the option play, pitches it back. That's Stockton, a pretty good hit at the 2. He'll be down at the 1-yard line. So the Jackets unable to get in. 59, Woody Bryant, able to put on the finishing touches. So with 20 seconds to go in the half, the Jackets will kick off. We'd look for a line drive of some medium range that would be designed to do nothing other than just minimize the return.
Precisely. 20 seconds to go.
Again, more of our sponsors include the North Dixie Drive-Thru Carryout, Wilson's Cardinal Foods, Edward D. Jones and Company with Errol Brown and Alan Brown, Emerson Wagner Realty, Area Energy and Electric, and Mutual Federal Savings Bank, which will be along with our Pride of Sydney band show momentarily. Moran will be the jacket booter. Look for a line drive just to go between the people on the front line and land somewhere back in the vicinity of the 30, maybe the 25-yard line.
Ryan Moran.
A crisp September night for football. Bikes is deep, but I don't think he's going to see the football.
I wouldn't think.
Here's the boot by Moran. It's exactly what we described, taken by one of the up men at the 28-yard line. He'll bring it straight ahead. A pretty good hit there by Paul Neves on special teams. Out at the 44, so with 15 seconds, Trotwood on offense. But this football will be called ready for play, and the clock will start as soon as the official sees that everything is set. And there it goes.
Well, a good job of returning that time by Trotwood. They picked the ball up. The up man did and cut her straight up the field. This should be the last play of the half.
They're running out of time, and I'm not sure that they know it. 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm not sure they got that off. There, Hudson throws it out to Giroux Mark. Out on the left side, breaks one tackle. Chambers over to drive him out of bounds, and it'll be halftime. The score, the Sydney Yellow Jackets 27, the Trotwood Madison Rams was 6, so they did get the playoff. But as we indicated, it is halftime, and the Yellow Jackets, after giving up the first score of the contest, pretty well took control after that. The Yellow Jackets 1 for 2 on kicking extra points, and 1 for 2 on going for the two-point conversions as well. So we go to halftime with a 27-6 Sydney advantage of 21 points. Again, the Pride of Sydney Marching Band Show will be a community service provided by Mutual Federal Savings Bank of Sydney and Piqua. We invite you to enjoy from Bob Driver Stadium in Trotwood. The Pride of Sydney Marching Band is under the direction of Carol Cutler.
Ladies and gentlemen, entering from the far side of the field, the Pride of Sydney Marching Band. The band is under the field direction of Field Commanders Amy Schreiber, John Chocote, and Shane Spinner. The Majorette Corps is led by Wendy King, and the Flag Corps Captain is Michelle Henman with Co-Captain Bobby Moore. This year's competition show takes the band to the world of classical music and will feature some of the most outstanding examples of this type of music. To open tonight's show, we will feature trumpet soloists Aaron Fanistock and Tara King and Modest Mazursky's Pictures at an Exhibition. The band will open with a promenade, move to the Witch, Baba Yaga, and then close with the Great Gate of Kiev. Our second selection takes us from the music of Russia and leads us to the music of Spain. Our next selection is from the world of opera. Written by the composer Bizet, this opera contains some of the finest and most memorable music ever composed. The opera is Carmen. The songs are the opening theme, March of the Bullfighters, and the Toreador song.
It's halftime in Trotwood with the Yellow Jackets leading the Rams 27-6.
Our third selection again is from Spain. The composer is Manuel de Falla. The music of de Falla is not universally known, but is always recognized as being very Spanish in nature. From his ballet about Spain, Ritual Fire Dance.
This is Channel 13, Sydney.
To close tonight's show, we return to Russia. The composer is Igor Stravinsky. Stravinsky was considered one of the musical giants of the 20th century. A truly inspired composer of both secular and religious works, he is best known for his work in the world of dance. From his ballet The Firebird, we bring you Firebird Suite, featuring soloist Teddy Keller. gentlemen, the Pride of Sydney Marching Band. The band is under the direction of Mr. Carol Cutler. Assistant to the band and Flag Corps Advisor is Mrs. Carolyn Christmas. Majorette Advisor is Mrs. Brenda Elliott. Gay Brewer is the Majorette Consultant. Mr. Phil Coco is Assistant...
And that's the conclusion of the halftime band show, and tonight's Pride of Sydney show has been a community service provided by Mutual Federal Savings Bank of Sydney and Piqua. Dale Given, the Jackets by 21.
Well, Dave, you expect the Jackets would have a big edge in stats, and they do. The Yellow Jackets, Dave, out rushing and passing the Trotwood Rams to a considerable differential. The Trotwood Rams have managed only 19 yards on the ground, 17 of those picked up by their leading ball carrier of the year, that being Mike Elder. With the other combinations, like I said, a total of only 19 yards on the ground. They've completed 3 passes. Has Andre Hudson, 3 of 10 passing with 1 interception, total of 68 yards. He's thrown a completion to Giroux, McKinney, and Ziegler. The last gentleman caught a touchdown pass of 20 yards and got the only score for the Trotwood Rams. The Yellow Jackets dominating, as I mentioned, throughout, 188 yards on the ground, only 26 through the air, but they haven't needed the passing game tonight to be successful. The big ground gainer for the Jackets, Andy Ward, who's lugged the pigskin a number of times, total of 127 yards. Shane Brewer, 5 carries for 25. Derek Goffney has carried the ball 4 times for 31 yards. Stockton has a couple of carries for 14, and Chambers has carried it once for 5 yards. 2 completions, 2 of 6 passing by Derek Goffney, 1 completion of 6 yards to Andy Ward, and then a strike of 20 yards to Josh Snyder for another Yellow Jacket touchdown. The Yellow Jackets have a total of 8 first downs compared to only 2 for Trotwood. Trotwood's 2 first downs came in the opening drive. The Yellow Jackets have forced Trotwood to punt 4 times, punts of 33, 32, 30, and 30, but the last 2 the Jackets have returned very successfully. Only 1 penalty in the ball game, and that's something you wouldn't expect. The Yellow Jackets were whistled for a holding penalty on an offensive play. That's been the only infraction of the evening. 1 fumble, Jackets lost it on their opening possession. So a turnover apiece, but the Yellow Jackets, Dave, have been too much offense and too much defense for Trotwood. To recap the scoring, as I mentioned, Trotwood drew first blood. The opening possession marched very crisply down the field, culminated with a Hudson to Ziegler 20-yard touchdown strike. It was 6-0 Trotwood. Their extra point was no good. It was blocked, and that's the way we went as Yellow Jackets got possession. However, after a 30-yard pickup by Andy Ward, he was hit from behind. The ball was stripped, recovered by Trotwood deep in their own territory. The Jackets defense then stood their ground. They forced Trotwood to kick. The Jackets then went down to score. Andy Ward carrying it in from 1 yard out. The kick was good, and it was 7-6. The Yellow Jackets with a 1-point lead. Then we went to the second period. It was Derek Goffney on a nifty rollout to his left. He kept it for an 18-yard touchdown scamper. The extra point attempt was no good. The kick sailed wide to the left, and it was 13-6. The Jackets were up by an even 7. Then the Yellow Jackets coming back after once again just shutting down the Trotwood Rams. Josh Snyder caught a 20-yard scoring strike from Derek Goffney.
Swiger.
I said Swiger, didn't I?
Snyder.
Oh, I'm sorry. Remembering a Sydney stand-up from a few years back. I'm getting a couple of those tonight. Josh Swiger, caught the pass in the right corner.
Save those for homecoming.
Oh, shoot. Swiger from 20 yards out. Goffney with the run was good for the 2-point conversion, and it was 21-6 Yellow Jackets. And then as time was running out at the half, with 20 seconds left to go, Andy Ward on the buck sweep to the right, carried it in from 11 yards out. The extra point, 2-point attempt was no good as the Jackets tried the option to the left. It's 27-6 at halftime, Dave, and it's been a whole lot of Jackets.
Dale, thank you very much. You're watching Channel 13 Sydney. This is Dave Ross along with Dale Given and our cameraman John Hemp. We'll be ready for third quarter football action right after a brief tape change.
Please stay tuned now while we make a quick tape change. We'll be right back in just a moment with the second half of action. This is Channel 13, Sydney.
Just
about ready to resume second half football. Bob Driver Stadium here in Trotwood. Dave Ross with Dale Gibbon on Sydney's Warner 13. Dale, the Jackets, I think it got their attention when Trotwood scored first.
Well, they kicked off, Dave, and started at their own 27-yard line, and they just flat out moved the ball straight down the field. They were not stifled at any juncture. They threw the touchdown pass, and it looked like we were in for a long evening, but it's been just the opposite. It's been Trotwood who's been in for the long evening as the Yellow Jackets turn things around immediately. Their first possession, however, they fumbled deep in Trotwood territory, and you thought, oh boy, here we go again, but that was not to be the case. The Yellow Jackets defense really has stood up to the task at hand and has shut down Trotwood almost completely. I mentioned that they had 87 yards in offense. The last play was kind of incidental, 14-yard gain. You take that away, and it's only 73 yards of total offense. And it was a 73-yard touchdown drive on the opening series. So since that time, it's been negligible yardage. 73 from 87, 14 yards in 4 additional possessions. All 4 times they've had to punt. So Dave, the Yellow Jackets doing it, well, excuse me, that's 4 punts, that's 5 possessions, only 14 yards. So less than 3 yards an attempt because the Yellow Jackets picked off a pass from the Rams and turned it into another score.
The Rams will boot it off to start the second half. Michael Ward, number 43, to do the honors. Then the Jackets will go on offense. This is very short. Picked up by one of the up men at the 30-yard line. That for Sydney is 16, Josh Hewitt. He took it at the 30, got it back to the 37-yard line, where it's going to be 1st and 10 Sydney.
Well, as you mentioned, almost the Jackets are almost in a position they'd want a fair catch that. It's very high and very short.
And that's an option you don't want to forget.
That's right. You've got that option to fair catch that kick because it's quite high, but that time they were able to come up with the football and turn it upfield. Great field position for the Yellow Jackets, 1st and 10.
Starting the third period, Goffney will hand it off. That'll be Ward, who will cut it to the right. Find the sledding a little tough. Got maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Probably not much more than that. Jackson on the play for Trotwood Madison. That's going to make it 2nd down. We'll still call it 10 yards to go for the first.
Well, Dave, the Yellow Jackets come out with the buck sweep to the right, the play that's worked very nicely for them. Matter of fact, their last offensive play of the first half was that exact play that went for 11 yards and a touchdown. It appears that Trotwood may have changed some things. See what the Yellow Jackets dial this time as it's 2nd and 10.
Motion to this side. Handoff back the other way on the counter. A couple of Rams, a good job staying home to stop Stockton. And perhaps a loose ball in the mix. The signal is that it's Trotwood's football. There was a fumble.
It was a fumble. That time Stockton coming on the counter, the inside handoff. He was stripped of the ball. It's recovered at the line of scrimmage. Or actually maybe a couple of yards from that point. So it's just inside the Sydney 40-yard line. So the second fumble of the contest. And Sydney, like in the first quarter, their first possession fumbles. This time they do it, but in their side of the field. And Trotwood's in business, 1st and 10.
Hudson hands it off. Mike Elder, the fullback, got, boy, no more than a yard. Jackets bottled that one up in a big hurry.
Well, Elder thus far in the year, Dave, has carried the ball 41 times.
Entering this evening,
prior to this evening, for 193 yards, a 4.7 yards per carry average, and 2 touchdowns. A gain on the play this time of only 1 gives him 18 yards on this evening. So the Jackets, Dave, doing a nice job.
27-6 Sydney. We're 2 minutes past intermission. Hudson back to throw, unloads it out to this side. That'll be an incompletion. He was trying to hit Derek Fields, number 2. Dusty Lenz over there for Sydney. Jeremiah Johnson also dropped off in support. We'll go to 3rd down 9.
I mentioned that Mike Elder had 18 yards rushing. That's in 5 carries, so only 3 yards per crack. And he's a load, but the Jackets are doing a nice job of gang tackling and really stopping him at the point of attack. Big 3rd down play for Trotwood in their first offensive possession here of the second half.
Wing eye to the right. Hudson to throw, being chased. Allen, he gets loose from a couple of people. Neves on him, the throw down the middle, almost intercepted. Jackets getting a little center fielder action back there. That's to David Johnson back at about the 20-yard line.
Good pressure on Hudson that time, Dave, as he's rolling out to the right side and coming in very quickly to apply the leather just as he released the ball was Jeremiah Johnson. And so although Hudson thought he might have some running room, that was not going to be the case. And throwing across his body, the left-hander rolling right, throws the incompletion. Jackets now with a big rush, and the ball snapped over the punter's head.
He'll go back to catch it and try to boot it from there. The Jackets, did they get a piece of it? Perhaps. Trotwood will down the football, and the Rams punting tonight has been an adventure. The Jackets will go back at it.
It looks to be spotted pretty close. That looks like it's going to be the 44-yard line. But Dave, almost deja vu, if you will, with that snap over the punter's head. We saw that happen a couple of weeks ago at Bell Fountain. The Jackets were whistled for roughing the kicker, but this time the punter picked up the ball and began to run a little bit, and the Jackets able to get a piece of it, I believe, and 1st and 10.
Dive play to Brewer to the right side, got running room, gets over midfield into Trotwood territory down at the 48-yard line. Jackets will set it up 2nd down 3.
Well, we saw an awful lot of Andy Ward in the first half, and Trotwood kind of trying to shut down Shane Brewer. Maybe they're going to overplay Andy a little bit here in the second half and see if Shane can up his numbers a little bit.
Double wing for the Jackets. Hand off to Brewer. He'll cut it outside, got big room. The 40, the 35, down to the 32-yard line. Bikes in on the stop for Trotwood. Jackets get a fresh set of 4. It's 1st down 10. 9 minutes to play in the 3rd period. Sydney with the halftime margin still prevailing of 27-6 in a game which saw Trotwood score first.
Nice 15-yard pickup by Shane Brewer, and all we had to do was just mention it, and he's carried twice now, picking up runs of 7 and 15 yards.
Andy Ward carries it to the right, and he looks to get about 7 more as he's driven out of bounds at the 25. That'll set up 2nd down 3. Ziegler on the stop for the Rams. The Jackets continue on the ground, but that play carrying out of bounds, so it will stop the clock until the subsequent snap.
Looks like the spot of the ball is going to be about the 26-yard line. So make it a long 3. Pick up on the play of about 7 for Andy.
Goffney rolls this way, wants to throw it, unloads it deep. That's a little too long for Spradling down at the goal line. It'll be incomplete. The Jackets will look at 3rd and 3. Dale, the second time in this game we've seen Sydney have what to some degree was a free play due to 2nd and short, and they tried for the end zone.
Well, and once again, they ran the same play. They have the underneath man is open as well, but Goffney's ball thrown a little far to the outside. If he a little more arch and over the defender, he had an easy 6 as Spradlin had beaten his man and was open in the end zone, but it falls incomplete. The Jackets now with the 3rd down and about 3.5 yards to go for a 1st down.
Hand off, and that one's got some trouble.
Handoff was inside to Shane Brewer, and he was hitting it in the backfield and ended up dropping about right at the line of scrimmage. So a negligible pickup, maybe a loss of a half yard on the play, and that's going to bring up a 4th down situation for the Yellow Jackets. See if they can convert here on 4th.
We're terming it 4th and 4 in 4-down territory at the 27-yard line. The roll is this way with Goffney. Wants to throw it. Got the underneath man, Brewer. He's good for a 1st down to the 15-yard line. He had about 8 yards to spare. Pickup of a dozen. Jackets get the 2nd 1st down of this sequence, which began 6 yards on the other side of midfield.
A good call right there, Dave. The Yellow Jackets took advantage of what we just spoken about earlier, throwing to the underneath man on that roll out to the left. Brewer wide open every time. This time, Goffney gets him a nice ball to handle. He's able to take it down, a pickup on the play of about 12 yards, and a Yellow Jacket 1st down.
Motion comes this way with Chambers. Penalty flag against the Jackets. Perhaps Chambers turned it up too soon. Ball was carried by Brewer, who was tackled after picking up about 3, but I believe that one will come back on illegal procedure against the Jackets, illegal shift. Dale, this has been a penalty-free football game. You only highlighted one at halftime.
Well, there was one holding call against the Yellow Jackets in the first half. This is only the second penalty of the evening. None have been called on Trotwood at all. That time, as you'd mentioned, and I've noticed on several occasions, the motion man Chambers has a tendency to want to cut it upfield a little too soon, running more of a half moon instead of a parallel to the line of scrimmage. And that time, I believe he was called for that infraction. And that'll put the Jackets with a 1st and 15, and the spot of the ball is going to be directly on the 20-yard line.
1st and 15, as Dale indicates. Split backs behind Goffney. He'll hand it, that'll be Chambers trying the left side. Cuts it back, gets to the 10, keeps those feet moving. He's headed to the tater patch for 6 points. Boy, that was a nice job from the 20-yard line. Jackets with a touchdown. 7 plays, they go 56 yards, and it takes 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
Well, credit Chambers, Dave, with tremendous second and third effort. He came on the sweep to the left side, got some nice blocks at that point, cut it across the grain, and then broke a tackle after he picked up about 10, and then just skirted the last defender and bowled him over on into the end zone for 6.
Elsner for the PAT. The ball's down. The kick is up. This one looks centrally located and is. Extra points good for the Jackets. They have the advantage over Trotwood, 34-6. Sydney High School football and the FD Lawrence Electric Company are about the same age, with a slight longevity advantage going to the Yellow Jackets. FD Lawrence is an electrical wholesale distributor specializing in General Electric power distribution equipment and the factory automation components of the Allen Bradley Company. FD Lawrence Electric looks forward to many more decades of serving the expanding Sydney market from their home on South Vandemark Road. Doug Christie and his staff are pleased to again sponsor Sydney football here on Warner 13.
Well, Dave, the Yellow Jackets come back after adversity once again. They fumble on their opening possession to start the second half. Defense plays superb, holds Trotwood, and then the offense takes it over and marches right down the field, and a good combination of running backs. Ward carries the ball, Brewer carries it 3 times, and then Mike Chambers polishing things off with a nifty 20-yard run for the Yellow Jacket touchdown, and also mix in another pass completion as Derek Goffney was able to hook up with Shane Brewer on a 12-yard completion on that drive. So the Jackets showing great versatility, and when you lead 34-6, things look real good for the Sydney Tribe.
Moran will boot it off for the Jackets. He's into the football. Pretty good kick. It'll come down to the 13-yard line. Picked up there by Ziegler, who caught Trotwood's only touchdown of the night. And the gain is only back to the 23-yard line. That's a great job of kick coverage on top of an effective kick.
Well, Ziegler elected to backpedal and take that kick away from his deep man, and so he had one less blocker to contend with. The return was set up to come to the right side. Ziegler saw 3 Yellow Jacket defenders at that juncture try to reverse field, but pursuit caught him right there. And excellent coverage. You've got to like the work of the special teams tonight, Dave.
Sure do. Equipment adjustment for quarterback Hudson of Trotwood Madison. The officials will grant him some time to get that taken care of, as Gerald Bikes, whom I got to meet at the GMVC Media Night at Vandalia a couple of weeks in advance of the season, assisting him. Bikes behind Elder as the I-back. 3 wideouts much of the night for Trotwood. Handoff goes on the sweep wide, and that was to the left side. Bikes, and he got maybe to the line of scrimmage, maybe the loss of a yard. We'll check as they give us an exact spot across Driver Stadium. Luke Allen on the Yellow Jacket stop. We're almost halfway through the 3rd frame from Trotwood. Sydney in command, 34-6.
Well, negligible loss. I don't believe he moved it ahead. Maybe a foot lost on the play, but Dave, the Yellow Jacket defense really doing the job.
Same formation for the Rams. Hudson to throw. Got a completion. Nice job hanging on to the football by Major Ziegler, 25. Dusty Lenz up to make that play defensively. Thought he'd be in a position to knock that loose, but some sure-handedness for Trotwood.
Not gambling and going for the ball. A gain on the play of only 3 yards. Good job by Dusty that time as he comes up, makes the sure tackle, and brings Ziegler down. It's going to bring up 3rd down and about 7.
Clock continues on the move. As Dale indicated, a gain of 3 on the pass play, which was off of 2nd and 10. Hudson to throw, 1 pump fake, chased out of the pocket by Paulus. He'll unload it deep, which he's very adept at, and a couple of Jackets basically knock it away from each other. David Johnson was back there along with John Johnson, and I don't think there's any other way to describe it.
Oh, John had great underneath coverage, and you've mentioned several times how deep David Johnson's been playing at free safety, and Hudson forced out of the pocket, just took the big heave, and just a great job of playing center field, and the Jackets defense bats it down.
4th and 7, Biggs will punt for Trotwood as they go straight to the line of scrimmage. Brewer deepest for the Jackets, a good snap this time. That ball may roll the other way when it hits. Nope, it gets a Trotwood roll. I thought with that spin it'd be inclined to go the other way, but the Jackets will take it from the 45. What about a 20-yard boot?
Exactly.
Sidney on offense. Look for the regulars to play one more series maybe if it ends in a score, and then look for some at least a smattering of new troops, perhaps giving some backups a chance to play with some varsity players rather than going through a wholesale substitution should a score occur before the end of the 3rd period. Sidney again with excellent field position. That's been the rule rather than the exception tonight. From the 44, and off first man Brewer, got some room, gets to the 30, down to the 25, still taking people with him to the 21-yard line. It'll be a pickup of 23 on the play. Jackson on the stop, 1st and 10 Yellow Jackets. The last time Sidney was at this stadium, they lost an overtime game on an exceedingly cold night for football, and a night on which with which the intensity of Trotwood Madison, I was very impressed. They played a nice football game. Sidney had it their way at Julia Lamb last year, and a lot of that is continuing here this evening. Here's Chambers, cuts it back, broke a couple of tackles. Finally, a reception committee of about 5 at the 17-yard line. That'll send it to 2nd down 7. This is keeping the clock moving. The next snap should be right around the 4-minute mark in time remaining in the football game. Dickman will split to the right. 34-6 Jackets. Wing each way. Stockton motion from left to right. Goffney rolls out. Wants to throw it. The underneath man Brewer. 10, 5. Football's loose. I think that was fumbled at about the 1. Yes. It was fumbled at about the 1 and fumbled through the side of the end zone. There's a quick call from the official, which from here appears very correct. That is touchback, which would be Trotwood Madison's ball at the 20-yard line. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Myers Garage and Drive-Thru Carryout in Newport, the Reese Insurance Agency, the Sidney offices of the First National Bank in New Bremen, FD Lawrence Electric, the Dickman Insurance Agency, the Farrington, and A&B Machine Incorporated.
Well, Dave, the drag pattern with the halfback coming out in the flat, wide open. Brewer cuts it up and tried to dive to the end zone, but as you mentioned, he lost the football. A 19-yard pickup on the completion, but another Sidney fumble. Trotwood's 1st and 10.
Trotwood football. Hudson hands it off, and oh boy, went absolutely nowhere. See if that's Bikes as he gets up. Sidney's got to be careful not to be too jubilant there, even though there was a big hit on the play by Luke Allen.
Well, he was right there, Johnny, on the spot, almost beat the football to the ball carrier. Just a real nice tackle, loss on the play of 2. Bikes with -3 yards on the evening and 4 carries.
Football started at the 20. It's now back to the 18. That'll make it 2nd down a dozen. 3:20 showing in the period with the clock moving. Rams from the 18-yard line on a traditional, crisp Friday night of football. You don't expect them this early in the year, however. Hudson rolls out, got company. Allen gets him at the 11-yard line. So that'll be a loss of 7 more, setting up 3rd down and 19.
The Jackets came with a blitz. John Johnson also in there to help finishing off the quarterback sack. But just great penetration, and your best pass defense is a good pass rush. So another loss on the play of, what, about 7 yards?
From the 18 back to the 11, Dale, that's exactly what it is.
Well, the Jackets fumble the ball out of the end zone and lose a scoring opportunity, but the defense has really been tough. It's going to bring up third down and a whole bunch. See if the Jackets can pick one off.
Again, David Johnson, a very deep center fielder all the way back to the 40. Hudson throws a screen trying for his big man Elder, the fullback who dropped off in a screen roll. And that'll fall incomplete, setting up fourth down and 19 yards to go. This football will have to be hiked to the punter in the end zone.
Well, Dave, it's a good call. The play call was a good one because the Yellow Jackets' pursuit has just been so overzealous. There was only one man on the far side of the field in a white jersey. There were about 4 or 5 blockers, and that would have gone for some big yardage.
The punter is only about 7 yards deep. Here's the boot. The Jackets rough him, and the only reason he was roughed is because the block was missed. There was every opportunity there. Here's Brewer to the 45. He'll get to the 40. A lot of helmet contact as he's driven out of bounds. But we've got a penalty on the Jackets. Referee nods his head yes and indicates it's roughing the kicker against Sidney. And like I say, Dale, the only reason it's roughing is because the ball was missed. So Hudson and company will come back onto the field for Coach Roy Toby's Trotwood Madison Rams. 2:01 left in the period.
Definitely a very short drop for their punter. And he just catches it and tries to unload it as quickly as possible. It'll be a 15-yard mark-off against the Jackets, Dave. They're only their third penalty of the evening.
Which is not enough for a first down, with the exception it is on a personal foul.
And, Dave, that is only the third first down for Trotwood this evening.
And we know when the first two were.
On their opening drive.
They were on the scoring drive. Trotwood from the 27 enjoys first down 10. Handoff, pretty good job getting loose from the pack as Jeremy Barner, 44. He'll turn what looked like no gain into a pickup of about 8. It'll be 2nd and 2 for the Rams. Ryan Wheeler among the Sidney tacklers, as Trotwood, like Sidney, will bring in plays via the wide receivers. Here's the I formation behind the quarterback. Motion comes this way. Hudson handed off on the first leg of the dive. That will be good for the Trotwood first down. Got the big fullback Elder. No, that'll be Bikes. Excuse me, 44. That's Barner, who's operating at the I-back during this sequence.
Higgs actually, I believe, has replaced Elder. I see him on the sidelines currently talking to the coaching staff.
Yes.
So a pickup on the play of about 3 yards and a first down.
Football's out to the 42 toward, if not at the left hash. Motion this way, Jackets show blitz. Now they back off of it. There'll be a no-gainer there for Barner. He's tripped up at the line of scrimmage, maybe even didn't get back there, which would be a loss of a couple.
Well, I think the reason it was a loss is the ball actually ended up going to Bikes deeper in the backfield. So, as you had mentioned, 44 would have been down at the line of scrimmage, but they end up giving it off to Bikes, and he loses a good full 2 yards. He continues to struggle. It's amazing. 5 carries on the evening, minus 5 yards of total offense for Bikes. He's had a rough evening.
He had 18 rushes for 99 yards entering this evening and an average of 5.5. Wing eyes to this side. Hudson's pass. Is that intercepted? Nice catch. Dusty Lenz, a good job at the 48-yard line, as that pass a bit too tall for 82 Derek McKinney. Jackets will take over without benefit of a punt.
Well, defense does it again.
And there may not be a snap to bring this period to an end.
We're going to see some new faces. It looks like Waters is going to be coming out to run the show for the Yellow Jackets offensively.
See if they get a play, Dale. They'll hit the line with 5. Doesn't look like it.
Nope.
Three quarters are in the books. The Yellow Jackets lead Trotwood 34-6. Can dining be both casual and elegant? Well, at the Farrington in Sydney, Jim and Lisa Henning say yes. More importantly, they prove it on a daily basis. They have an excellent choice of entrees and a relaxed dining atmosphere. Try the Farrington for lunch, as their selections accommodate any noontime schedule. Check out the Farrington's catering service. Reservations are always accepted, even on weekends. Be sure to visit the Farrington near I-75 at Fair Road in Sydney. That's the Farrington. Dale, those folks are looking forward to a very special New Year's Eve.
Well, yes, they are. I could let the cat out of the bag a little bit. You can get the details from Jim Henning, but apparently later on in the evening, there will be a special dinner, if you will. It's going to be a murder mystery at the Farrington for New Year's Eve. For pricing information and other details on the event, contact Jim and Lisa at the Farrington. But it should be quite an evening of fun and frolic and a little murder on the side.
Thought they might have Guy Lombardo on a VCR. Here come the Jackets following the Lenz interception, which concluded the third period. From the 48-yard line, Waters operating, hands the football to Brewer. Dale, what I pointed out earlier, when it came time for Sydney to substitute, it makes some sense to let a rookie quarterback play with some veteran players.
Exactly. It's a very good point you make, Dave, is you don't wholesale substitute. You bring in a few players here and there and let them work with the first team, because if something should happen to your starting quarterback, you don't want to miss a beat if you can keep from it, and this will be some great experience for young Waters.
2nd and 1 from the 39-yard line. Waters rolls to the left. He's getting some heat from Elder. Unloads it. That'll be incomplete, intended for Shane Brewer down at around the 25-yard line, so it falls incomplete. Clock stopped with 11:29 to play. Sydney leading Trotwood Madison 34-6.
Well, once again, Dave, on a second and very short, Jackets with somewhat of a free play. Go with the pass. Waters was really